Okay, I guess this is gonna be part 3. I turned it off right around where my doctors had called me and told me that I had to come in. They wanted to talk to me because I was getting sick, and they had told me that I had some kind of diabetes. It was some kind of reactive hypoglycemia. They said it was very rare disease. I guess my blood sugars, they go real high or real low. It ain't like low blood or high blood sugar. It's just it's a real rare, but people do have it, and they said that's what I have. And I asked them, and they said there's no cure for this. But anyways, I had went home, and I was like confused. I had went back to the doctors because I told them I wanted to get a second opinion on what I had because it felt like I was gonna die. And they told me, Robert, they said the blood that you had took here, those little vials of blood, we put them in our machines, and they said that our machines are top of the line machines, and this is what we figured you had. So when you came back and you took more blood, like some vials of blood that I had took, and they gave them, and they said that all them pints of blood that you had came and took, we send those out to the lab. They told us that they're scientists, they know what they're doing, it's their job, this is what you have. So they gave me a book, like a pamphlet, and said, here, take this home and study up on this and figure out your carbohydrates, your sugars, your proteins, and stuff like that. But that was too much. I couldn't do it. I was always too sick. And they told me I had to take a machine and test my blood and for a whole month and bring it back, and they were going to plug it in and see what, what kind of where they were going to go from there with this. But there is no cure for this. So anyways, I had went home, and I used to always just lay in bed and come outside to get some fresh air and go back and lay in bed. I just kind of was giving up. But anyways, one day my dad and my mom had came for the holidays to my house, and my dad had asked me, he said, Robert, did they ever find out what was wrong with you? And I had told my dad, I said, Dad, you know what? They told me I had this sickness, like diabetes or something, and I guess I'm gonna die like this because I couldn't figure out what to eat, how to keep it under control. I just kind of gave up. But anyways, my dad, he had gave me like this big old hug, and he had told me, you know what, Robert, everything's gonna be alright. And my dad, he had never been, affectionate like that. He never really hugged us like that and stuff. And anyways, what I did was I just went to lay back down. My dad went back to Pueblo, and I guess he had to go have a surgery in the hospital. And when he went to the hospital to have the surgery, it was like supposed to be like a same day surgery. But anyway, something went wrong in this surgery. They had called us that night and told us that my dad was bleeding internally. And so me and my wife had to go back to Pueblo to see what was going on. But anyways, my dad was in a coma, and me and my wife, we just decided to stay there with my dad. We slept there, ate there, took showers there. I was sick every single day there. I would just sleep in the waiting room, and anyways, and I kind of remember now a few times I had some people just randomly just want to come up to me and just, hey sir, you know what, something told me, that I had to come and pray for you. Can I pray with you? And I said, yeah, sure. And that was just a couple of people just randomly wanted to come and pray for me. And anyways, as time went on, my dad, it was a whole month he was in a coma. He finally, at the end, he took a turn for the worse there. And my mom had called her pastor to come and pray with the family, because they said it wasn't looking good for my father. So anyways, they called Pastor Vince, and he went into the waiting room, and we were sitting there, and I happened to look over at him, and he was sitting right next to me, and I wanted to share something with him because I knew maybe he would understand something. And I said, Pastor, I cried out to God, and I knew that He had delivered me, because I don't have no desire for drinking and drugs at all. For about a year and a half, I went on like that. But the last 4 or 5 months, I've been really sick, Pastor. Feels like I'm gonna die. And the doctors told me that I had this disease. And anyways, Pastor asked me, so what have you been doing about it? And I said, well, Pastor, you know what? I have a Bible that I've been sleeping with. I kind of used to hide it. I used to hide the Bible under a pillow and kind of sneak it towards me, because I didn't want my family to think, but look at what's my dad doing? He's sleeping with that Bible. So anyways, I used to just sneak it, because I thought maybe one of those deep sleeps I used to go in, I wouldn't wake up, and I wanted to go to heaven, because I thought I was gonna die. So Pastor said, wow. He looked at me and said, so you just been sleeping with your Bible? And I told him, yeah, Pastor. And he told me, Robert, let me tell you something. Instead of sleeping with that Bible, have you ever tried opening it up and see what it said inside? And I said, no, I haven't. Then I looked back at my pastor, and he just kind of looked away and didn't give me no other answer. And now I believe that was the only answer. That evening I kind of opened up the Bible, read a few verses and stuff. I didn't understand the Bible. I had never read the Bible. I never understood it, but for some reason just those few little verses I read made some sense. Like it was different. But anyways, when they had left the hospital. After praying for my father, that night I went back and laid in the room. I was with my wife in the room, and I was getting kind of sore my back, so I told my wife I'm gonna go stretch my back out in the waiting room for a while. So when I went into the waiting room, I was thinking, I was saying, well, God, you know what? If my dad passes tonight, I'm so sick. Every time something had went wrong in the hospital, those months with my dad, like I would get real sick also. I would it would make me feel real sick. And I asked God, if he passes, what am I gonna do? Am I gonna pass out too, just from hearing what happened? But anyways, I lay back in the waiting room, and I had fell asleep for just maybe an hour or so. I fell asleep, and I had this dream about somebody passing away. I didn't understand the dreams, but I know that they covered somebody. They were turning off some machines and stuff like that. It was in my dream. But anyways, when I fell asleep, the phone had it rang in the waiting room. And I woke up and I said, well, I must have fell asleep. And it was like 5 minutes till 6 in the morning. And at 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock, they make everybody leave the room where my dad was so they could take care of their paperwork and stuff. So anyways, how I woke up was the phone rang. I picked up the phone, there was nobody on the phone. But anyways, I hung up the phone and I looked at the clock. It was 5 till 6 and I thought, wow, I have 5 minutes to go see my dad before they make us leave. So anyways, I went and I pushed the button at the waiting room, at the ICU to go see my dad. I just woke up and they opened up the doors before I could go in. The doors open and it was like a deja vu right there when the doors opened. From that point, walking from the doors to my dad's room, there was I started thinking about my dream, about somebody dying and the machines going off and them turning the machines off and stuff like that. Then I started thinking, when I got to my dad's room, I looked at my dad, I looked at my wife, and I knelt down there and I started crying. And I started telling my wife about the dream I had. I told her, I think my dad's gone. And she said, no, don't say that. It's just a dream. You'll be alright. And I kept thinking, no, I couldn't stop crying. I knew that something was going on. And then anyways, the nurses that were there, they turned around and they told us, we're sorry that we don't want to interrupt you, but it seems like your dad just passed away within the hour or so. By looking at the machines is what they said. There was no more response. They could not turn off the machines until the doctor came. So they asked us if we were like the priest before he does his rounds in the hospital to come and pray with the family until the doctor comes so they could turn the machines off. So we said yeah. And anyways, my nephews used to come in the morning before they went to school to they came to the hospital and they found out the news. So anyways, when we were praying there, I had looked up at all my nephews and my sister, and the way they were crying while they were praying, and it was just like in my dream. And I thought, man, this is real. I don't understand it. I really didn't like the feeling I was going through. I thought maybe I was like losing my mind or something. But anyways, after it all happened, I had told my wife to go home to my mom's house. I'll be there in a little while. But I went to the Mineral Palace Park and I was sitting there in my car and I was thinking, wow, God, what's going on? I had this dream and everything seems so for real, and I don't understand stuff like this. This is like the movies. And I lay back in my chair in my car, and something came into my mind. It was like God speaking to me, and he had told me, Robert, do you remember about a year and a half ago when you were underneath that tree crying out and you were going to take your life? And you told me if I was to help you and deliver you, that you would serve me. And through all this, I'm just trying to let you know something. It's time to serve me. And do you remember the sickness that I was telling you that the doctor said that I had? Well, anyways, after I woke up from that dream that I had about my dad passing away and stuff like that, all that sickness, it was gone. I had went from the Mineral Palace, and I went to my mom's house, and I told my wife, I said, you know how I quit doing pills and drink and drugs and stuff? I finally told them. I cried out to God. He was the one. And I told her about the sickness that I had, that it was gone also. And sure enough, from that point on, that day, that sickness, I don't understand it, but that sickness I had, it was completely gone. So anyways, when I came back from Pueblo to Denver, you know, I started wanting to, you know, learn more about God, buying Bibles, going to church. I started going to church. I used to go Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday, Friday, and twice on Sunday, every day for a whole year, just to know about this God that delivered me and cured me. So I know God's for real. I struggled in life for many years. I was lost, you know, with things that always came to my mind, thinking that the world was the answer, doctors are the answer. Don't get me wrong, doctors are here for a purpose, but God is our ultimate healer. He healed me and delivered me, and He gave me a new life. And it's been right now 7 years, and I know that God had a purpose for my life. And I thank the Lord, and also I thank my pastor for looking at me and telling me about picking up that word. And I just want to let YouTube know there is hope for the helpless and the